We've had a lot of different maps within the Battle Royale genre, much to the chagrin of many, but still, one of the most important aspects to this style of game is the map, the literal terrain you're going to cross as you play. It needs to feel good to move around the map, have distinct points of interest, and not feel like any part is more powerful than the rest. And while many maps have tried, only one, to me, has achieved this level of success. And that's why PUBG's first map they created, Erangel, is the best Battle Royale map we've ever gotten. Now I know, that's a loaded statement, but in my eyes, I feel like it doesn't even compare. The only other map that feels like it should be listed here is Call of Duty's Alcatraz map. But even then, the map is fun more because of the mode attached to it, not the map itself. This already has a ton of contradictions to it, I know. I have scatterbrain trying to figure this out, so just hear me out. The actual layout of this map is spot on. Tons of points of interest, and the map is fun and engaging to explore. Even if they reuse a lot of assets with the buildings, it's forgivable because it's a map. They kind of have to do that. The main attraction for people first looking at this map would probably be the military base, located at the bottom of the map. And while it may house powerful gear, doesn't always do that, there are only two ways to get in and out under normal circumstances: long and exposed bridges that separate it from the mainland of the map. Sure, you can swim or find a boat to get across, but if you're going to try to cross it through the road, you're going to get contested and have to fight your way out, which makes it really interesting once people are trying to get out and back onto the main map. I'm also a huge fan of green and like lush landscapes. That's the preferred style of map that I like to play on. Desert maps are not my style, they're not so fun, and snow, while certainly can be interesting, it hampers overall visibility and kind of gets dull and boring over time. And green may be overdone, but it's the safest route, and the developers have drastically improved the quality of the visuals over time as well. Plus, some of the locations across Erangel at this point are just iconic. You have Mill Base, you have Pachinki, you got Rozhok, and who can forget about the Thunderdome of the map, the school. I've had games that started and ended there faster than some Tarkov raids, and that's saying some shit. I know personally, I have like these little memes with my friends with some of the names of these different locations. It's awesome. The terrain of the map is varied enough, especially with the altitude, it doesn't all feel the same, even though the general theme of the map is largely identical across it. Because the map has a balance across it as a whole, where the final zones end up being makes the game feel different every single time. It could be at the top of a hill, a dense urban town, or an isolated corner of the map that you don't normally go to. It's really interesting when they get to those final zones. Now, the map certainly isn't perfect, no map is. One of my personal gripes with the terrain is how, if you're not on an actual road and you're driving, especially on a bike, it gets very bumpy, to the point where you can easily flip it by accident, and your game ends before you even really got started. Believe me, I've done this more times than I'd like to admit, honestly. And some of the locations that I personally have barely ever explored. The two that pop up to me are Milta in the bottom right and Stalber in the top right. Although I will say Stalber is an awesome spot for the game to end because it's so high up in the air. It feels incredible when you're in the clouds and the zones coming in. It feels really dope. I also appreciate the water is usable. It isn't there just for show. You can swim, you can find a boat, and move around the perimeter of the map. And there's even a chunk of the map that is split open by a river. So if you come to the left side of the map and cut inwards through the river, it takes you like halfway through, so you're in the center, and then you can figure out what you need to do. It's really, really creative how one river can make such a difference if you have the right tools for the right situation. Now again, I'm trying to think of other maps and other games that have really done it this well and stood out to me. And maybe I'm stupid, but I can't really think of any. Apex's map wasn't bad, and there's definitely some memorable spots because I constantly dropped there. And Day 1 Warzone was cool, but that had a lot of urban areas, and even H1 back in the day had a ton of urban as well. This map just strikes the right balance of tight, close combat and moments where you'll just be running and shooting the shit with your friends, or have a moment if you're playing by yourself for reprieve. I'm trying to take my nostalgia glasses off for this, and to me, Erangel was definitely like a definitive map to play on. It just felt so good. The games are always fun if you didn't die at the start. And Bluehole, I don't know how they did it, but they really knocked it out of the park with that map. And to this day, I would use this map as like the groundwork to make a BR map and see what they did and how it works and why it flows so well. It truly, to me, is just the best BR map we've ever gotten, and I wonder if anybody else agrees, because it feels so good to play, even in 2022. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope to see you in future ones.